Auschwitz was born out of fear and hatred. Located in Nazi-occupied Poland, it was initially established in 1940 as a prisoner of war camp, but under the direction of Heinrich Himmler, one of Adolf Hitler's closest lieutenants, and commanded by Rudolf Höss, Auschwitz evolved into a much darker entity. By 1942, it became the largest and most notorious of all Nazi concentration and extermination camps, part of Hitler's final solution to systematically exterminate European Jews. Höss, tasked by Himmler, oversaw the camp's transformation into a death factory. Himmler envisioned Auschwitz as a key element in the annihilation of the Jewish people, along with Roma, Soviet prisoners of war, and other groups considered undesirable by the Nazi regime. The camp grew from a small complex into a sprawling network, divided into Auschwitz I, the original camp, Auschwitz II-Birkenau, the primary extermination center, and Auschwitz III-Monowitz, a forced labor camp. This transformation marked the beginning of industrial-scale murder, a scale so vast and calculated that it remains one of the darkest chapters in human history. But before moving on, I've got something really special lined up, but it's only for those who've subscribed. Auschwitz was the site of unimaginable horrors. It is estimated that at least 1.1 million people were murdered there, around 90% of whom were Jews. The camp's statistics are staggering. Over 1 million men, women, and children arrived at its gates. A mere fraction would leave alive. Others perished from starvation, disease, brutal labor, and heinous medical experiments. Mass murder at Auschwitz was executed with chilling efficiency. Victims were transported in overcrowded cattle cars, often traveling for days without food or water. Upon arrival, they faced the infamous selection process. SS officers, including the notorious Dr. Joseph Mengele, decided the fate of each individual with a simple gesture. To the left meant death, to the right, a temporary reprieve for forced labor. Gas chambers became the primary method of extermination. Prisoners were told they were going to take showers, but instead, they were packed into chambers where deadly Zyklon B gas was released. Within minutes, life was extinguished. The bodies were then dragged out by other prisoners, known as Sonderkommando, and burned in crematoriums. Smoke from these crematoria filled the air, a constant reminder of the horrors unfolding behind the barbed wire. The scale of this mechanized genocide left a profound impact on those who survived and continues to echo through history, reminding us of the fragile nature of human decency. Life in Auschwitz was a daily struggle for survival and a descent into hell on earth. Prisoners endured back-breaking labor from dawn to dusk, often under brutal conditions. Malnutrition was rampant. A piece of stale bread and a bowl of thin soup was all that sustained them. Diseases like typhus spread quickly in the filthy, overcrowded barracks. Dehumanization was a daily reality. Upon arrival, prisoners were stripped of their belongings, their clothes, even their names, replaced by a number tattooed on their arms. They were subjected to cruel treatment by SS guards and capos, who often tormented prisoners for sport. Each day was marked by roll calls, where prisoners were forced to stand for hours in the freezing cold or scorching heat. Many died where they stood, exhausted from labor or succumbing to the extreme conditions. The psychological toll was immense. Inmates were forced to watch public executions, beatings, and the constant threat of the gas chambers loomed large. Many lost their will to live, yet others found incredible strength in small acts of resistance or kindness, hoping against hope for liberation. As if the daily horrors weren't enough, Auschwitz also became a laboratory of inhumanity, a place where pseudo-scientific experiments were conducted under the guise of medical research. The camp's so-called doctors, most infamously Joseph Mengele, performed grotesque experiments on prisoners, especially children, twins, and the disabled. Mengele, known as the Angel of Death, was particularly fascinated with twins. He subjected them to brutal procedures without anesthesia, such as injecting chemicals into their eyes to change their color, or sewing siblings together in a twisted attempt to create conjoined twins. Many children died from these procedures, while others were left permanently scarred, both physically and mentally. The elderly, women, and disabled were subjected to inhumane sterilization experiments and deadly diseases in Nazi racial purification efforts, leaving lasting scars on humanity. On January 27, 1945, the Soviet Army liberated Auschwitz, discovering 7,000 survivors and overwhelming evidence of Nazi atrocities. Auschwitz now stands as a haunting reminder of humanity's darkest moments, urging us never to forget and to remain vigilant against hatred.